Sprouts of Famine are a wandering Chaos Space Marine warband devoted to the Chaos god Nurgle. Their original ancestry is unknown, although theories about which of the original legions they split from are abundant. Their widespread use of terror tactics and the habit of decorating their armour, vehicles and banners with gruesome trophies suggest a kinship with the Night Lords. However, the total absence of jump troops and degree of fondness for use of demonic constructs, as well as some autopsies, point out a possible link with the Iron Warriors. The total absence of heraldry, usually replaced only by glyphs honouring Nurgle or Chaos itself carved directly into their armour, and the presence of rare banners displaying the same pledge of loyalty don't offer much insight to settle the dispute, however. The first contact characterised by the modus operandi came in 997 M34, an incursion against a small and marginal system in the Ultima Segmentum. Quickly quarantined by the Imperium, every route to and from the system was blocked and its very coordinates were erased, along with its name from every record not directly controlled by the Inquisition. It was a more methodical and disciplined slaughter than a simple offensive. The Sprouts of Famine emerged in full force from the warp, quickly deploying men and weaponry on the surface of the few habitable planets, and swiftly overrunning the Imperial defenders thanks to the support of local cultist cells. With the blood of the planetary defence forces still warm, they roamed from settlement to settlement of every planet of the system, gathering one human per household as a sacrifice to be offered to Nurgle. Amassing those million souls into unholy ruins for 49 days and 49 nights, they sacrificed each and every one of them, while every form of plant life in the system began to rot, and every kind of beast began to slowly die in agony due to terrible disease. At the end of the 49th day, every source of food, animal or vegetable alike, was but a memory in the mind of the starving population. At the dawn of the 50th day, however, new fruit plants untouched by the tainted chaos began to emerge from the rotting corpses of animals and steaming piles of vegetable matter. The remaining cultists began to harvest this fruit and loaded it into the Sprouts of Famine ships. The Sprouts of Famine then left their conquest of fate and headed back to the Maelstrom. Despite the bulk of the warband constantly travelling from star system to star system, its base is all but defenceless. Nurgle answers the prayers of his children, and garrisons a force of plague bearers and Nurglings, guarding the fames and aiding a defence force formed by half-trained cultists, Chaos Spawn and Renegades themselves. A grotesque parody of the immune system for a rocky host body which acquired sentience due to prolonged exposure to the warp and to influence of the Plague Father. The unholy will that vivifies the asteroid is a great unclean one, a green and deformed monstrosity that oversees the entire base but not directly leading its renegades into battle on particularly important systems or planets whose fate he holds the most dear. After every raid, all the rusted vessels of the Sprouts of Famine come back to the asteroid. There, the fleet can be re-equipped and repaired, and the demons and renegades inhabiting the base can have entrusted its precious cargo to their loving care, looted equipment and goods, and more often than not fresh cultists to be trained or slaves to be exploited. Docking bays and corridors excavated into the very stone of fames are closely guarded by demons, renegades, or by the hovering consciousness of the Great Unclean One inhabiting the asteroid. Warpsmiths oversee the work of demon forgers, which tirelessly burn metal and slaves, repairing damaged vehicles with them, corrupting looted ones, or forging new biomechanical monstrosities, so that the Chaos Space Marines are never in short supply of whatever war machines or equipment they might need. In halls carved out by long-dead slaves, aspiring champions train those cultists deemed worthy, to make them strong enough to replace the inevitable losses in the ranks of the warband. Demonic rituals take place in other secret wings of the base, overseen by veteran sorcerers and promising apprentices in order to guarantee to Sprouts of Famine all the support possible from the inhabitants of the warp. Their incursions into real space seem to follow a casual trend, with their fleets moving from the border of the galaxy to the other with the sole end of taking down the defences of a target system, repeating the same 49-day long famine summoning ritual, reap whatever they might need, and abandon the position to its fate. The truth about the pattern of their raids, however, is far more sinister. It is the very consciousness of fames that whispers their destination to the renegade skies, all of whom are sorcerers. The prayers of farmers who pray for a large harvest, or breeders relying on their cattle to survive, all reach the Great Unclean One's ears, despite the void separating all those worlds from the Maelstrom where it lives. Their allegiance is unimportant, because hunger is one of the few constants which unifies everyone who lives, and there are no favouritisms from fames in sending his men to help one race or another. The Great Unclean One is endlessly high-minded and tender-hearted, as all individuals of his kin should be, and unceasingly sends his allies through the stars to grant those heartfelt wishes, and in doing so, extend Father Nurgle's influence.